The Shire of Donnybrook Balingup. Oh, sorry, are you ready, Sam? Oh, good to check that we're on. Okay, welcome everyone to this special meeting of Council. The Shire of Donnybrook Balingup acknowledges the continuing connection of Aboriginal people to country, culture and community, including the traditional custodians of this land, the Wadandi and Kaniang people of the Noongar Nation, paying respects to elders past and present. And we declare this meeting open at 5 p.m. A reminder that this meeting is being live streamed and digitally recorded in accordance with Council Policy EMCP2. Members of the public are reminded that no other visual or audio recording of this meeting by any other means is allowed without the permission of the chairperson. While every endeavour has been made to only record those who are actively participating in the meeting, loud comments or noises may be picked up on the recording. Attending this evening is myself, Vivian McCarthy, Councillor Alexis Davey, Councillor Anne Mitchell, Councillor Lisa Glover, Councillor Peter Gubler, Councillor Grant Patrick and Councillor Anita Lindeman. Staff present include CEO Nick O'Connor, Director of Operations Roscoe Marshall, Manager Financial Services Meta Hazeldine, Acting Director of Finance and Corporate Lauren Clifford, Finance Projects Manager Stuart Eaton, Administration Officer Corporate Services Samantha Farquhar. We have no apologies for this evening and no approved leave of absence. And do we have any applications for leave of absence? No? Moving into item 3, announcements from the presiding member, I would like to just shout out a farewell to Councillor Diana Shand, and it's with great sadness that we announce the resignation of Councillor Shand from Council. Councillor Shand was elected in the 2023 local government election as one of 9 council members, and she had previously indicated her intention to retire at the conclusion of her 2-year term. However, a change in personal circumstances has led to stepping down slightly earlier than planned. So on behalf of Council, I extend our sincere thanks to Councillor Shand for her service over the past 22 months. She's been an advocate for the Shire of Donnybrook Balingup community, particularly for the residents of the Preston Valley and Yabberup communities. Councillor Shand is widely respected for her thorough research on development applications and for her willingness, to speak up on matters that she feels strongly about. Her presence will be missed at our final 2 OCMs leading into the 2025 election. On a personal note, I'd also like to thank Councillor Shand for her support during my time as President. We all wish her the very best as she embarks on her next chapter. Moving on to item 4, declarations of interest. A reminder that Division 6, Subdivision 1 of the Local Government Act 1995 states that care should be taken by all councillors to ensure that a financial or impartiality interest is declared and that they refrain from voting on any matter which is considered to come within the ambit of the Act. Do councillors have any declarations? As we have no questions coming in at item 5, we have no responses to previous public questions that were taken on notice at 5.1. And there are no presentations at item 6 and there are no committee reports at item 7. So we can move straight to the item 8, which is the purpose of this special council meeting, to reports of officers at 8.1.1, adoption of the 25-26 budget. And we will ask CEO Nick O'Connor to introduce the report.
Thank you very much, Presiding Member and Shire President. So, councillors, it's with great pleasure that I present to you tonight the 25-26 Shire budget for formal consideration and adoption. I think you'll all agree, councillors, and certainly from staff's perspective, that the budget provides a really strong and solid framework for a year of consolidation, cost containment and sustained community engagement and consultation as we collaboratively work with our community and different stakeholders to plan for the future. You will note as part of the draft budget and the papers before you tonight that the report contemplates a general or an 8% rate increase, and from officer perspective we believe that 8% increase in the current terms is both fair and reasonable. Really importantly to note, whilst we're asking for a cost increase or a rates increase of 8%, it's important, I guess, to communicate that internally we've done everything that we can to contain and constrain costs. And I guess a really good example of that cost constraint for the next 12-month period is that out of that 8% cost increase, that only a minor amount of 0.51% is a general increase to operations, and with the remaining 7.49% going to reserves for future asset renewals and other reserves, for top up other reserves. So I think it's really important to put that 0.51% increase of operational costs in broader context, and that's where we're currently sitting with a local government cost index. So I guess that's an industry-specific CPI rating, sitting around the 3.4 to 3.6%. So that's the CPI for local governments in Western Australia. So we've managed to contain our operational costs to an increase of 0.51%. How do we do that? We did that through a collective and collaborative approach, both from the strategic guidance provided by councillors, through our workforce planning exercises, our asset management plans, and just as importantly, from an officer perspective, and indeed councillors, we're very frugal with proposed discretionary expenditure for the next 12 months. Councillors will recall, and through you, presiding member, at the July ACM, we're tracking well for a better than expected surplus for the 24-25 financial year, and that's providing a really strong foundation for future financial gains and surplus for the 25-26 year period. I'd just like to draw councillors' attention to a number of items contained within the draft budget. The first of all is just some commentary regarding the 3-bin system, or the food and organics waste, food and garden organics waste collection. As councillors would be aware, we've been working with our neighbouring councils to provide or find a short-term solution following the announcement back in December of 2025 that Bunbury Harvey Regional Council would be, for a short-term period anyway, ceasing the processing of FOGO at their facility to our west. And just to be very clear, that the proposed charge will only be levied for the current cost recovery basis, so therefore the FOGO processing component of that 3-bin system has been reduced to only reflect the cost of the pickup and the transport to Bunbury Harvey Regional Council facility, and for that FOGO material to continue to go into landfill. In the intervening period, staff and indeed the Shire President and I will continue to work on a short-term solution and bring that matter back for Council for the 3-bin system and the continuation or otherwise of a FOGO service within the Shire of Donnybrook Balingup. Also attached and for your consideration, Council, is a number of fees and charges, and again this is on a cost recovery basis. These charges are levied, a user pays system. I just want to acknowledge and thank staff for their initiative in introducing a number of automated efforts to remove manual labour, and a great example of that and a real success story has been the recent introduction of Space2Co, that online booking service which is reducing staff time, providing better tracking of bookings, and also really importantly for an audit trail of all those bookings as well. You'll also note in the report there that there's, under the fees and charges section, some of the changes are also outlined in the report, and there's also some clarification from what's been previously briefed to Council, so I'll leave that to councillors to read through that detail in the report. Whilst we have, I guess, developed the budget against the background of being very frugal, at the end of the day the money is not ours. We are custodians of significant amount of assets and rates income from the residents and ratepayers. There are a number of initiatives that I'd like to draw Council's attention to. The first one is that looking at funding the fire station, the Argyle Irishtown Fire Station renewal, or new fire station, and that was as part of a $1.6 million funding commitment secured during the recent state government election. The Balingup Recreation Precinct Master Plan, which has got a notional allocation of $60,000 to bring all community stakeholders together, both of all ages, of all demographics within the Balingup region and the broader catchment, to do some strategic master planning of that whole recreation precinct, which I guess will then set us up for the future to have some strategic decision-making around our assets that are contained down there, the renewal of the assets, and indeed any of that decision-making being truly reflective of community wants and needs. There's also renewal works to the change room and pool at the Donnybrook Recreation Centre, and today we received formal notification from the state government of a $132,000 grant that will help offset some of the reserve funding for that $400,000 project. The budget also contains some initial $20,000 for initial planning works for Egan Park Master Plan here in Donnybrook, as well as councillors will also recall a recent report that was put up through the operations area around the formal adoption of the roads program, which also receives an increase to that over the next 12-month period. Really excitingly, another initiative that's funded in the draft budget, councillors, is the development of an economic development and tourism strategy of $50,000 that will again bring the stakeholders together, community, business, tourism industry and council representatives, to collaboratively develop a 5 to 10, 15-year strategy for economic development and tourism development in the Shire. And then finally, councillors, there's $200,000. Obviously, we are the custodians of a number of landfill sites. So there's $200,000 earmarked for landfill closure plans, as well as looking at some site options moving forward. Really importantly, over the next 12-month period, councillors will embark and have completed a full review of our IPNR documents. And I guess the titular or the most important part of the whole IPNR framework and that strategic planning framework is the development of the new council community plan, or the strategic community plan. And we're looking at kicking off the first phase of that community engagement with a community priorities survey to commence in September, so next month. So in closing, councillors, thank you, council, for your strategic guidance throughout the whole budget development process. There have been a number of touch points. There's been a fair bit of debate and discussion around what's fit for purpose and what's reasonable in the current economic climate. But ensuring that we lay that or continue with that solid platform for closing that financial sustainability gap. To staff from across the organisation, it wasn't just the executive team. I want to acknowledge and thank each and every one of you for the collaborative work to pull the budget together, and noting that it is pulled together and looking to be adopted within the first week of August, which is certainly a feather in the cap of the staff, given our significantly reduced staffing levels. So, Shire President, I'm happy to commend the budget to Council.
Thank you very much, CEO. And councillors, on that, I would like to move the executive recommendation for the proposed 25-26 budget. Would someone like to second? Councillor Lindeman? I'll speak to the move that I've made. In saying that the budget, the 25-26 budget, represents a significant milestone in our journey toward financial sustainability, improved service delivery and enhanced community wellbeing. It reflects a genuine collaboration between Council, the Shire Executive and our community, each contributing to the application of our sound financial management principles. I think this budget builds on strong foundations that we laid last year and provides a balance between affordability and progress. It continues to deliver on the priorities outlined in the Council plan and ensures our strategic directions remains focused and is consistent year on year. We've adopted a strategic financial planning framework. We've worked through that, informed by recent reviews of our long-term financial plan, our asset management plan and the corporate business plan. And this framework has focused on increasing revenue, reviewing service levels and optimising our asset base to ensure our long-term sustainability. So I congratulate and appreciate deeply our executive team efforts in maintaining a general cost increase of just 0.51%, because this allows for a greater proportion of the proposed 8% increase to be allocated as 7.49% to reserves. This progress has only been possible through two key areas of collaboration. First, the support of our community, who has stood with us through some very difficult decisions. And second, the dedication of our executive team, who provided comprehensive and transparent information to guide Council's decision-making. We have worked within a culture of collaboration, and this budget is a reflection of that shared commitment. So I support the executive recommendation and commend the thoughtful and diligent work that has gone into preparing a budget that's both responsible and responsive to the needs of our community. Thank you. Councillor Lindeman, would you like to speak to the recommendation?
Thank you very much. I didn't really prepare anything because I didn't expect I'd be the only person who had to second this. Obviously, what you've said as President is 100% what we've considered financially and for the good of the community. I'll always say we live in the best place in the world and you have to pay for that. But that allows you to have all of these wonderful things that are around us and that surround us, all the facilities and all the services. So I think it was fair and it was reasonable, but it was difficult. Thanks.
Thank you. Would anyone like to speak against the recommendation? You can ask a question. Thank you, Councillor Glover.
Thank you. And thank you to all staff and everyone involved in preparing the budget, in particularly in a timely manner. It's fantastic. I've just have two questions. One of them, and perhaps I was writing something down while I might not have heard it, but there was talk about the Baling Up Recreational Master Plan. Is that still going ahead?
CEO?
Yes, so there's notionally there's $60,000 earmarked for the Baling Up Recreation Precinct Master Plan. Yep.
May I, through the chair, ask another question? Yeah, and I just wanted to confirm this, that I'm reading it correctly. I think I am. But just in regard to reserves, because that's what we're often paying attention to, I can see that the budget for 24-25 was $3,179,000, but then the actual was $5,081,000. So that appears to be... if I'm reading it right. But it just does appear that we've put a lot into reserves at the end of the year and more than what we'd actually budgeted for. And so if that's the case, then fantastic. That's amazing.
Thank you, Councillor Glover. I'll allow... sorry? Yep.
Oh, I guess my first question is, where was that information sourced from? From the budget document itself? Okay.
Sorry, yes, it was
on
from the
page 18?
budget document and it was on page...
18, is it? Page 18 sets out the reserve.
I can't see, yeah, I can't see
I can
page
take on
number on it.
notice if you wish to.
No, if you can just see it. To me, it just looks like it's a fantastic addition to what we actually budgeted for.
What we do when there are projects that remain unspent at the end of the financial year, we do transfer those into reserves so the funds aren't lost, and we'll transfer those back into the new financial year. So without knowing the specifics of what you're looking at, it's quite possibly could be those carried forward projects that are just pending the work's been done, but the funds are quarantined and set aside in reserve so they're not lost.
Thank you, Stuart. Would anyone like to speak against the budget, against the recommendation, I beg your pardon? And anyone else like to speak for the recommendation? Councillor Patrick?
Thank you. Look, I just want to reiterate what others have said. Congratulations to not just the administration, but the council as well. And I did want to highlight the fact that, this council has had to make some tough decisions over the last couple of years, and specifically around the budget. And whilst nobody, around this table, as far as I'm aware, wants to reduce funding for community activities, community groups, or wants to increase rates, I just wanted to highlight that where we're at is a position that we've worked really hard on to try and actually build up the reserves. So the reserves is where our financial risk has been. There's a fair bit of commentary, or some commentary from some community members around, we're paying all this money just for VC Mitchell Park. And I wanted it out there and highlighted that what this council and this administration has been working towards is looking towards the future and looking towards those reserves that have been neglected historically, and that a big focus of the decisions that have been made are actually to support those reserves moving into the future, and it's not just funding a football club or VC Mitchell Park. It's a lot bigger than that, and it's targeted at sustaining the community moving forward, not just paying for a building. So yeah, that's what I wanted to add. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Patrick. Would anyone else like to speak to the recommendation? Councillor Davey?
Yeah, I'd like to speak for the recommendation. I really appreciated the improved timing of this year's budget. Really happy to see more going into reserves than initially expected. The focus on landfill management, employee entitlements was really positive. And I hope that on this basis we can attract some new candidates for the upcoming election to maintain this positive trajectory in addressing our underfunded reserves while balancing the needs and service requirements of the current community. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Davey. Would anyone else like to speak to the recommendation? Against? Right, we'll put that to vote. I have to give myself a right of reply, and I've remembered once, but I have nothing further to say. Thank you, councillors. So we'll put that to vote. All those in favour? Carried. As we have no further business, we can move straight through to item 12, I think it is. Item 12, closure. And we can advise that the next agenda briefing session will be held on the 20th of August 2025 at 5 p.m. in the Shire of Donnybrook, Balingup Council Chamber. The presiding member, myself, declares the meeting closed at 5:21.